And we're back with GSBA TV. I'm Denise Santos. Sitting with me are Samantha Fuhrey, Superintendent, and Board Member Shakila Henderson Baker. How are you today?
Doing well.
Doing great, thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
So you just gave a speech about eradicating poverty. Can you talk to us a little bit about the speech that you gave?
Sure. In the Newton County school system, we are working feverishly with our community organizations to take a hard look at poverty, and not only looking at poverty specifically, but looking at what types of things can we do to ensure our students are well prepared to graduate from high school as well-rounded, and in addition to that, using the community agencies as support as we work hard to eradicate poverty in our community.
And from the board member standpoint, I talked to the audience about what board members can do. We already have relationships and partnerships, and we know the organizations that already exist in our communities. So it's just about getting them on board to partner with the school system. And that's easy to do when you already have those connections.
Can you talk to us a little bit about the causes of poverty?
Sure. Children are impacted by poverty in multiple ways. There's situational poverty, often caused by divorce situations. There's generational poverty, where families experience poverty generation after generation after generation. In addition to that, there's poverty experienced by families because they have moved from one country to another and are working to secure employment, which is also situation and often temporary. But poverty is definitely experienced by different people in different ways.
Now, can you give us some data to describe the magnitude of poverty in the community?
Absolutely. In the state of Georgia, poverty, the percentage of families impacted by poverty is roughly more than 60%. 18% of the population in Georgia as a whole is impacted by poverty. And then nationally speaking, for the first time in the history of our country, more than 50% of our students are impacted by poverty. Speaking specifically about the Newton County school system, our poverty rate is measured by free reduced lunch, and we experience about a 72% poverty rate, which translates to about 14,500 students of our 20,000 who experience the impacts of poverty.
So what do you suggest, or what steps can you take to overcome poverty?
The first thing that we need to do as a community is look at moving our communities from being poverty aware, where they carry with them the stereotypical mindset of what people impacted by poverty do and look like and what they experience, to becoming a poverty-informed community where they have a deeper sense of understanding of how people are impacted by poverty and the things that impact their day-to-day lives, from the families themselves to the children who come to our schools. In our community, we are working on establishing what is known as an opportunity community, which is derived from the work of Dr. Donna Beagle, where the community comes together to work to eradicate poverty in the community and to connect families impacted by poverty to the resources that are often siloed in many of the communities in Georgia, but especially in Newton County.
And mentioning the silo of those organizations, many of these organizations do the work, and they all do the same type of work with providing resources to families and going out into the communities and trying to help them and stuff, but they're not working together. So that's part of the thing, is getting all of these organizations on one accord to work together in it.
Can you speak to us a little bit more about Opportunity Community and where viewers and members can find out more information about it?
Communication Across Barriers is the parent organization that was founded by Dr. Donna Beagle. The Opportunity Community sets up a community in which all people thrive and grow and flourish, and it sets up a system of connecting people impacted by poverty, known as neighbors, to those who are not impacted by poverty, known as navigators. And the point of connecting families to neighbors to navigators is so that people impacted by poverty have the resource connection that will help them connect to the other organizations. We call them helping organizations in our community. I know that when I call, as I said in our presentation, when I call our local pediatrician as a superintendent, she tends to answer the phone. But oftentimes our families impacted by poverty have to go through many, many hoops just to get one simple answer. And so connecting families known as neighbors to navigators, who are people like us, who have resources, and sharing resources with them really can make a difference for our community and for all communities.
Where can our viewers find out more information or read more about it?
I would think the best place to go would be the internet and to Google communication across barriers, and then reach out to Dr. Donna Beagle.
Any lasting remarks or anything you'd like to elaborate on?
The lasting remarks I want to say is the work is not easy, and I think people get frustrated in the process because the work is not easy. Eradicating poverty, that's a big step. But if you do the work and you come together, it can be done. You know, it's just about being courageous and bold enough to take that first step. So,
Well, thank you so much for sitting with us today.
Thank you.